the scale of this project. 100 billion is a small dent in it. And the numbers are also like, they're missing the story of what this amount of infrastructure is capable of doing. Like 10 gigawatts of compute, again, easy to throw around numbers like that. But the amount of work it takes to build that out, the size and scale of these multi-square mile gigantic things, and the complexity at every level of the supply chain, and then what that amount of brain power, which does not exist today, can do already today. What it will do as the models get better. Like, this is the real deal. This is the thing people have been waiting for. They talk about AI or when it's going to do this and when it's going to do that. Like, the stuff that will come out of this super brain will be remarkable in a way I think we don't really know how to think about yet.
100 billion is a small dent. Now you sound like President Trump. And
one way to contextualize the scale of what we're talking about and the compute scarcity of the world that we're heading towards. ChatGPT today, you talk to it, it gives you answers. But clearly you want an agent that's going to go do work for you proactively while you're asleep, be able to organize your calendar or go, try to work on projects for you.
Sure.
And so you really want every person to be able to have their own dedicated GPU. Right, so you're talking order of 10 billion GPUs we're going to need. This deal we're talking about, it's for millions of GPUs. Like, we're still 3 orders of magnitude off of where we need to be. So we're doing our best to provide compute availability, but we're heading to this world where the whole economy is powered by compute, and it's going to be a compute scarce one.
So Sam,
John, remember, this new project that we're talking about, 10 gigawatts, or roughly 4 million, 5 million GPUs. That's approximately, in one project, what we shipped all year this year. Okay. And twice as much as last year, twice as much as the year before that. And so that kind of puts it in perspective. This is a giant project.
And we don't yet know how many years to amortize that over, sort of, but it's...
Well, we just need OpenAI is the fastest growing software company in history.
So about the infrastructure, we were talking about data centers, but I also want to talk to you about the edge. And I guess Sam or Greg, this could be either of you. Apple had their big launch of selling iPhones last week. A lot of people thought, oh, they're behind on AI. They're trying to push this idea that these phones, because the chips they have in them, are AI ready. And of course, they're talking to you guys. Are these part of the infrastructure that you need? What should the world understand about the role of the edge and devices like this?
This is where there's this important idea, which is most of the world thinks about AI as ChatGPT, and yet AI capability has moved far beyond. So for the kind of chat with ChatGPT about most stuff, you will be able to do a lot of that on your phone, and we think that's great. We released an open source model called GPT OSS recently that can run on a laptop or a phone, and it's incredible to me what you can do on a device. It's gone way further than I thought, and we'd love to see a lot of that move to the edge. Curing cancer, like an AI that thinks really hard and cures cancer, that'll need the big data center. But for the sort of standard ChatGPT queries, we hope we can push a lot of that to the edge.
So what's the significance of these platforms, whether it's from Apple, whether it's from the likes of a Qualcomm, in being able to provide a standard platform for you guys, for other partners, for other application providers to build AI-driven applications on top of, which are going to drive some of this demand that we've been talking about here?
I think you need all of it, right? I think that no matter how much gets built, we are still going to be in this world of compute scarcity. And every time there's a new compute platform, new availability of this kind of computational power, that it's possible to design new algorithms, new methods, new models, new products that are able to deliver benefits to everyone. And so you should expect that you'll see this whole ecosystem of models from us and from everyone else that is able to take advantage of what's out there. It's a little bit like when the App Store first came out. Suddenly people started creating apps and filling that platform because there was this new availability, this new way of building. And I think we're heading towards a platform shift that's going to be much more significant than anything in history.
Another potential either roadblock or opportunity is talent, right? You got to have the right people to build this stuff, to design this stuff, etc. Immigration is a part of that. Jensen, there have been some moves, some announcements over the past few days about that. How does that position the U.S., maybe the H-1B issue and the extra charge on top of that? How does that position the U.S. in terms of competitiveness? What are your thoughts on where we need to go?
We want all the brightest minds to come to the United States. And remember, immigration is the foundation of the American dream. and we represent the American dream. And so I think immigration is really important to our company, and it's really important to our nation's future. And I'm glad to see President Trump making the moves he's making.
What kind of policy needs do we have from your perspective at
we
OpenAI?
need to get the smartest people in the country, and streamlining that process, and also sort of aligning financial incentives seems good to me.
How far are we from yet another big announcement, right, about the capital needs and how you hope to fulfill them?
You should expect a lot from us in the coming months. There are three things that OpenAI has to do well. We've got to do great AI research. We have to build these products that people really want to use. And we have to figure out how to do this unprecedented infrastructure challenge and build out, which there's chips, there's power, there's buildings, there's a lot of pieces that go into that. And that latter category is going to be my big focus in the coming month. And we have very ambitious goals, so we'll have a lot to say.
Jensen, the next big catalyst that you see on the horizon? I mean, AI is what's driving so much of the market and the imagination right now of economies across the world.
Look, we saw in the last 5-10 years, AI move from generative to reasoning to now thinking models. Went from text to multimodal. It is very clear that there will be a persistent AI connected to every device to be everything that's out there. You know, it could be a persistent AI connected to the car, connected to smart glasses, connected to the phone, as you mentioned, connected to human or robots, and robots of all different sizes and shapes. And all of that is just beginning. None of it exists today, and yet everything's around the corner. That's how exciting this is. Yep. We're literally going to connect intelligence to every application, to every use case, to every device, and we're just at the beginning of that. That's the reason why we need such gigantic infrastructure, and this is the first 10 gigawatts. I assure you of that.
Well, I'm looking at the CNBC app, and there's NVIDIA stock right now. We can't see OpenAI stock yet, but call me when we can. Scott and the halftime crew, back to you on this breaking news from NVIDIA headquarters here in Santa Clara.
Yeah, John, really extraordinary, the announcement and what we just heard from those three men gathered with you there. John Ford at NVIDIA headquarters today. Thank you very much for that. You saw NVIDIA shares are at the highs of the day.
What if the next world war was over before anyone could fight back? China's ambitions toward Taiwan have simmered for decades, but the stakes are higher than ever. With rapid military growth, cyber dominance, and economic pressure, Beijing already has the tools for a lightning-fast strike. The question isn't whether China wants Taiwan, it's whether the world could stop it. On today's episode of the Infographic Show, we're showing how China will take over Taiwan in 7 days, and no one can stop it. Day 1. China's President Xi Jinping gives the order, putting a plan that has been many years in the making into action. 1 week from now, Taiwan will be under complete Chinese control, as long as everything goes as planned. But the first step isn't to fire missiles, launch rockets, or send in the troops. No, it's something much sneakier, something that Taiwan and its allies won't see coming. A ruthlessly efficient cyber attack designed to cripple communications and disrupt the region's most important services. Because today's battlefields aren't just physical. Warfare isn't only reserved for towns, cities, fields, seas, skies, and trenches. It can also take place in cyberspace, across computers and connected networks. The same networks much of the modern world relies on for business, banking, communication, and so much more. China has honed its cyber warfare capabilities in recent years. It's now widely regarded as one of the world's leading players in cyber operations. It has entire units, like the People's Liberation Army Cyberspace Force, dedicated to cyber defenses. China also has unofficial armies of state-backed hacking groups, many of which have carried out espionage and data theft attacks in the past. The U.S. State Department has acknowledged the massive threat that Chinese cyber attacks could pose to even the most sophisticated cyber defenses. The intelligence community knows that critical services in the U.S., like oil and gas pipelines, are firmly in China's cyber crosshairs. If the U.S., with all its intelligence and advanced technology, could easily fall victim to Chinese cyber strikes, then Taiwan has almost no chance. And that is exactly what China is counting on. It deploys its armies of hackers instructing them to focus on the most important fundamental targets and services powering Taiwan's society and economy. Following the PLA doctrine of disrupting information infrastructure to achieve information dominance over the region, major internet networks and cellular communication systems start to crumble in the wake of China's cyber strength. Distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks bring down important online platforms like banking websites and media platforms. Power grids begin to feel the heat, and over the course of a single day, extraordinary amounts of damage are done. Taiwan had prepared for cyber attacks. It set up the Information Communication Electronic Force Command in 2017, specifically to handle cyber defenses and find ways to fend off electronic warfare attacks. Taiwan also has expanded its satellite backup communication systems just in case its primary power sources are disrupted or taken out. Unfortunately, none of this proves sufficient in stopping China's attacks. Taiwan's internet infrastructure, despite some recent advancements, pales in comparison to China's digital might. It simply cannot withstand the enemy's relentless attacks. The population plunges into a state of panic. Websites stop working, cell phones are suddenly cut off, internet networks become unreliable at first and unusable later on. News and media reports emerge explaining that Taiwan is the target of an unprecedented campaign of cyber warfare. The first rumors of Chinese responsibility begin to emerge, but China's agents are already on the case. They take to major social media networks and use bots to spread misinformation and muddy the waters. This spreads confusion and distrust not just in Taiwan, but across the globe. Nobody knows for sure what has happened or what might occur next. China's plan, however, has only just begun, and it's about to up the ante. Day 2. On Day 2, China moves beyond cyber warfare and into full-blown physical attacks against Taiwanese targets. Its objective is to quickly and efficiently eliminate Taiwan's ability to defend itself while cutting the island off from the rest of the world, without the need for any Chinese boots on the ground at the moment. Boasting one of the most diverse and developed missile programs in the world, China has a vast
AI can build an entire app in a minute.
Every choice that you make comes with a trade-off. Money is an invitation to critical thinking. You can afford anything, but not everything. So if there's something that you value, whether it's travel, food, or a house, you can have that thing. You just can't have an endless series of ands. You might not be able to have that thing and something else, and something else, and something else. And that doesn't just apply to your money.